You guys want to see my new ADHD hobby? I'm growing little seedlings, little saplings. There's two that have little leaves. This one and this one right here in the middle. I couldn't tell you what I planted. So now I have a green thumb, yay me. I'm really hoping I don't kill this stuff. Hi, I'm Marissa. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi and welcome. Today, I wanted to show you all how I kind of go through my monthly reset. Now, on a weekly basis, I will do a mini reset, but month to month, I like to just kind of make sure everything is in order, everything's set, everything's balanced before we enter a new month. This weekend is perfectly aligned with the last day of May and the first day of June are on the same weekend. At the end of every month, I try to focus on three main areas to kind of get my life in order. The first being cleaning my home. The second, making sure all of my finance trackers and information are up to date. And third, I like to make a couple health and fitness goals going into the new month and a meal plan, stuff like that, just to make sure that I'm staying on track with whatever goals I currently have. That being said, let's get started. I like to start my reset with the home so that I have a nice, clean, and relaxing space to focus on setting good intentions for the incoming month. Sometimes I'll listen to an audiobook while I clean, but more often I'm listening to a playlist while I work my way through the house. Like I said, I do smaller resets each week, so even though this is a deeper clean, it's not that bad. At this point in my life, I have a pretty good cleaning routine down. I always start with laundry so that it can run in the background. I also start the Roomba. His name is Rocco, so he can sweep while I clean other areas. When cleaning by hand, I start with the bathroom, then move to wiping down all the surfaces in the house. I do any dishes that might be dirty and take any bulk trash or recycling out to the bin. After Rocco's done, I'll mop the floors with this Swiffer style mop. I prefer the refillable ones, and I use a mix of dish soap, vinegar, water, and scented oil. Not including the laundry, this will all typically take less than an hour and a half, which is honestly not that bad. I'm a clean as you go person, so again, that deep cleaning really isn't necessary. I'll be honest, I like to get the cleaning out of the way early in the morning so that I can get to my favorite part of my reset day, which is organizing my finance tracker. I'm a huge data nerd, so this is like my bread and butter. I make my trackers using Google Sheets, and I'm currently tracking my debt payoff, savings goals, spending by category, and my overall net worth. This tracker is not really something I share because honestly, it changes every year. I have a little bit of like an attention thing with it needs to be an interesting tracker. And so honestly, I change them so much, even just because I'm bored and want to make a new sheet. Starting with my debt payoff, I will update this when I make a payment typically, but what I actually did with my debt is because my debt was such a low interest rate, which thank goodness, I saved up the balance of the debt in my high yield savings. So I'm letting that balance accrue interest in my savings account while I'm still making payments. Currently, my debt is actually not collecting any interest at all. So I do have it planned to pay it off before it starts again, but it's been a huge help, huge relief to just not even have to think about it. Since I've hit that goal of matching my savings balance to the debt balance, I do consider this like quote unquote paid off, but I like to still keep track of it just until it's like no longer in my name whatsoever. Moving along to my savings, this is a little more involved because at the end of every month, I make 2 transfers from my main bank account to my high yield savings. The first transfer is all the leftover money from the previous month. I don't like to roll over because personally, I have savings accounts for any emergencies that might come up. And if I'm going over my monthly limit, it's always been something that I can use the emergency fund for. The second transfer is for the amount that I budgeted for savings for the incoming month. In my savings tracker, I will add up how much is transferred in total, and it breaks down how much goes into each bucket depending on the percentage breakdowns that I assign to each one. Again, this changes all the time. The biggest thing here is making sure that the numbers match up to my account at the end of the month. Each time I spend money, I will update my spending tracker. This makes it easy for me to gauge my spending throughout the month and adjust if necessary so that I'm not surprised by any high spending amount at the end of the month. Typically at this point, if the numbers are off, I make sure there were no charges that I missed by comparing the numbers to my bank statement. I also note on my tracker what day and where I made each purchase. Sometimes I'll even include what I bought. So usually I can remember what it's missed and I don't really have to go through all this. Finally, for my finance reset, I add in any net worth data that isn't read from the other sheets. This includes my investment account balances, cash, and my credit score, which I just like to track for funsies. I don't know. Like I said, I'm a data nerd. During this time, I also might fine-tune my budget for the incoming month, but honestly, at this point, it's pretty much already set. As I get bills, I go ahead and fill out the expected and actual amounts for it for the next month. And anyways, that's the whole thing. If you guys want to see a little more of how I do my finances, let me know. I would love to make a video about it. Personally, I think that personal finance is very personal. How many times can I say personal? I think that, whatever works for you is the right thing to do. And so I hesitate to kind of share what I do just because I know that everyone has their own way of doing things, but I am more than happy to if you guys are interested. I know there's a ton of apps that you can use to organize this information a little bit more easily. I've used Mint before. I actually still use it even though I do all this too. This is not sponsored and I love it, but I like to have a very active and hands-on role in my finances. So doing this, updating my sheet on a weekly and monthly basis helps me just be more aware of everything that's going on with my finances. It is also, in my personal opinion, going to keep your information and accounts safer if you're aware immediately when something fishy is going on. I feel like if your data is out there, which at this point, all of our data is out there, it's really hard to, even with security, ensure that all of your accounts and your data is protected. Being more involved, you're going to notice things that are out of place, and it's much easier to nip that problem right when it happens versus months down the road. Finally, we're resetting my health. This probably doesn't happen every month, but as of late, I've been really focused on making sure that I'm eating healthy and nutritious meals and being more active, even if it doesn't feel like much. Part of that is making my meal plan for the month. At this point, it'll be a pretty vague monthly overview, but the first 2 weeks at least will be set. I start by writing ideas for meals that meet my current needs. Lately, I've been feeling the need to increase my protein, so I decided I would start incorporating a protein shake and a snack of a couple hard-boiled eggs each day. Yes, I caved on the egg flight trend. If you don't follow me on TikTok, you can see more of my everyday life like that over there. I also knew that I wanted a warm and filling dinner, but not something super heavy. From this list, I'll pick 1 breakfast, 2 lunches, and 2 dinners, since I prefer to eat the same thing for an entire week. It just allows me to not get distracted by food, and I can focus on other things. This also allows me to save some money since I'm shopping for a bulk meal prep or 2 recipes instead of for 14 separate lunches and dinners. I do shop for 2 weeks at a time, so 2 options for lunch and 2 for dinner are perfect, 1 for each week. As for breakfast, I've been having the same oatmeal for almost a year now, so that's what we're doing. We just need that one. I make my shopping list from this plan and head to the store, which I didn't film because it was so packed in there and it was raining out. Honestly, we just needed to get through it. Typically, I get all my shopping done on a Saturday so that I can meal prep on Sunday night for the incoming week, and then I don't even think about it for another week. Living the dream. As for resetting my activity and health goals, I like to start each month by setting a reasonable goal for myself based on one thing that bothered me in the previous month. Sometimes it's that I kept going back to sleep in the mornings and skipping my workouts because I was tired. So for the new month, I will make my goal to get more sleep by not using my phone before bed or doing yoga to unwind. Or if I know that I've not been feeling so hot lately because I've been eating really poorly, my goal might be to hit a certain number of servings of fruit or veg in a day. When it comes to activity, I will usually just set a mileage or active days goal, which doesn't really change month to month unless I was going to set a goal of trying something new, like a new sport or activity. If you're a monthly resetter, go ahead and let me know what areas of your life you'd like to focus on. Really anything that'll make life easier is welcome advice around here. If you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and leave an egg down in the comments. It's for my protein goals. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and spending time with me today. Your time is really valuable and I'm so grateful that you chose to spend some of it with me. If you like my content, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you see more of me on your feed. And if you want, hit the notification bell. That way you get notified anytime I make a post. I hope you all have a wonderful week and I will see you next time. Bye.